commented in the question box, you're going to get a recording of today's webinar. Now, do know that it takes about 24 hours, so it'll be tomorrow morning before you get a copy of the recording, but then you can slow me down when you need to, pause, review, go back, everything so that you really do get a good handle on these new skills. And then also, if you've commented in the question box, you will get a copy of today's slides sent at the same time that a copy of the recording of this webinar is, okay? So just make sure you've found that question box, and I will shout out and let you know that I've seen you post. Lillian, I have seen you. Patricia, Samantha, Evan, I've got you here. Shayla, Kathleen, Tabitha, Diana, Tiffany. Okay, this is really, really good. Glad everybody here is finding that question box. And we have, okay, very nice. Let's go ahead and make sure we still have a lot more people in here, and we need everyone to find that question box just so that you get value here. Let's go, because we're ready. All right, we are recording, and I do want to let you know right here that if you want to learn about anything that Google has to offer and training, and that you can ask from your Google partner, who invited you today. If you'll go to google.com/grow, that's where you can find all the different topics that we can provide webinars and training on, or that your Google partner can help you with. And if you'll use the hashtag Grow with Google, if you're tweeting or posting anything on social, this lets all of your connections and your circle of influence know that you're leveling up your skills, but it also lets the Google team know that this matters to you, and it encourages them to create more, which is what I love. Let's say hello, Carol. I see you here. Rhonda, very nice. I see you here. You found the question box. All right. And then we also have Carrie. Okay, Carrie. Sorry, Carrie. It is 8-point font that I have to read here. I can't even make it any larger, so I just wanted to make sure I read your name right. So it's Carrie. Welcome, Carrie. Thank you for everybody finding that question box. Here's how you can connect with me. If you're tweeting or posting and you want to tag me, I will definitely retweet, repost, put you on my Instagram stories, whatever it is, just to showcase and say thank you for you sharing the information that's being shared today. All right, let's dive in, everyone. Now, in March 2022, we all went remote. So whether we wanted to or not, we learned about becoming remote. Before March 2020, no one would get on a video call with me. More often than not, it was person to person that we would see each other, or it was a phone call. Video calls, when I would say, hey, I'd like to video call with you so I could share my screen and walk you through something, was so foreign. But the big thing that we have realized in going remote is that because we are many times home-based or in our home environment, we are connected now 24/7, and we feel like we need to be responsive 24/7. And that's not a good place to go, because you don't want 100% of your life being work life. You do need to have some good balance, some things to look forward to, some things of the why of what you're doing. So if you think about it, it's really good to give yourself a space, to give yourself a schedule to do this. Because I work with digital marketers across the world, I'm used to working with a remote team. If I wanted to, I could jump in on 3 in the morning, and some of the team members are actually working because they're in Australia, in the Philippines, in Bali, in Ireland, in the UK. So if you think about it, you could work 24/7, but that's not what you need to do. So give yourself a space to work, give yourself hours, take breaks, and give yourself and the people you work with some grace, because everybody is at a different level of learning than you are, okay? So let's go ahead and go in. Let me see, Franchelle, this is the hard part. I wish I could hear you guys. And we were, if we were here in an actual meeting room, I would have been there early with a cup of coffee, learning more about you and your name. So yes, absolutely. You will get it just because you've commented in the question box. You will get a copy of today's slides just because you've commented there. That's the most important thing, to find that question box. Now, we do also know there is a lot that you do need to learn to be able to work remotely. There's a whole new set of skill sets. When I graduated from college, and I'm going to date myself, back then, a laptop was not something that was standard issue or was a part of everyday life. I worked on spreadsheets, which were actual spreadsheets, pen and pencil, right? Actual paper. So Now it's a bit different, and we're going to go a little bit deeper into that and a whole lot into what will help you grow. But let me share a poll with you here real quick because I'd like to know a little bit more about you. Again, making it best for you. All right, so I have a poll. Let me see. That's just launched. There it is. All right, and I'd like to know from you, how many of these items have you been asked about already? Whether it's just making sure that electronically you know how to file, you know how to access and utilize storage and cloud storage, more than just what you have on your mobile device or mobile phone. Okay, a lot of people have been asked about spreadsheets. I see that. Digital literacy, that's a top question as well. Office tools you've used, absolutely. What are some other ones here? Yep, email. I mean, everybody expects that, right? That you know and understand email left and right, calendar invites and appointment scheduling, right? Let's see what else. Some of the Google related tools. Okay, all right. So email and data entry and office tools and spreadsheets tools are the #1. I'm going to go ahead and close that one. And I've got one other question to ask you. Have you ever used any of these tools? I'd love to know if you've got any background with any of the Google tools. Like I said at the beginning, I am not selling you anything today. Everything that I talk about, in fact, I never do. Everything that I talk about is educational, letting you maximize the tools you already have access to. And if you have a personal Gmail account, you have access to all of these tools. You don't even have to have the paid version. So you have access to everything here. All right, so many of you have used Gmail. All right, that seems to be the most popular. You've used Google Docs as well, which works like Word. You'll see in just a few moments if you've never seen that before. Some of you have used Google Drive, the storage, Google Sheets, which works like Excel. Again, there's no licensing to any of this. You already have access to it through your free Gmail account. And I'll tell you also, you don't have to have a Gmail account to have access to this. You can just start a free Google account and still keep your same email. I'll show you that in a moment. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead then. We're going to go ahead and start. Thank you for giving me some feedback here to give me an idea of where everybody is at. Again, I customize everything. So we're going to be talking today about how you can create a to-do list using Google Sheets, how you can also create a meeting agenda with Google Docs. Remember what I said, that works a lot. Well, it works exactly like Word, you'll see. How you can provide a status update with Google Slides, which works just like PowerPoint, and then resources. Just like I finish every webinar that I do, I provide free resources that you can use to even get better at this and take the next step to really level up your skills. Now, as I said earlier, this is all within the free Google tools you have available to you. Now, your free Google tools, okay, just making sure everybody found the question box there. Those free Google tools, if you have a Gmail account, just open that up and you'll find what we trainers call the app waffle. See it there, the little keyboard that you'll see there, the keypad. That is the app keypad, but we trainers like to call it the app waffle. I know I'm pretty dangerous because some of you are now getting to snack time or meal time. So some of the team here watching is it from Texas. Some of the participants here are in the Indianapolis area. So you might just be getting close to lunchtime. So I know I dangerously mentioned food, but that's what it looks like. It does look like a waffle, but it's the app keypad. If you have a Gmail account, sign in. Once you do that, you will be able to access all of these accounts. Now, if you do not have a Gmail account, you can set up a free Google account. What you're going to do is you're going to go to here, to this actual place where you sign in. So when you go into Google, go to google.com, and you're going to hit Gmail, or you're just going to hit sign in here because it will ask you to do that when you're at google.com. And what you're going to do now is you're going to click here where it says create an account. See that little blue link? It kind of flashes there in the animation. But right there, you're going to create an account. And what you will do then is put your email address, and it does not change it at all to Gmail. It is your email address, create a password, and like any other password protected site online, that is how you will access this, okay? Any questions on that? So you can access it because that's most important. I'm going to every now and again go to a live demo. So I'm going to try to do this. Let me change the size of this window here. So it covers a little bit more. Oops. Where did it go? Here we go. There you are. Let me do this a little bit over here so I don't lose track of it again. There, need to make it bigger. I do like to go to the live demo because it's a little bit hard when you're broadcasting for you guys to see all the visuals that you need to see. So sometimes it's a little bit tiny or the animation gets a little bit fast. Here we go. All right, so this is what it looks like when you're in a free Gmail account. But let's say you're not in here and you are here at google.com. Oops, I'm on the wrong keys. All right, when you are in there, you will see in google.com, let me just make this a little bit bigger because we are broadcasting. And you will see here that I'm already signed in, so you see my initial, or you might have already put your photo here. Or if that's not the case, it'll say sign in, just like you saw in the slide and in the animation. That's where you'll click to sign in. When you do that, you will need to create an account if you've not already created an account. Since I already have a Gmail account open, it is recognizing that. Remember what I said? It will recognize that. So now I'm already within my Gmail account. Now, when you access your tools through your Gmail account, you will use, just like I'm showing you in the animation, this app keypad, and that's how you can access all of these free Google tools available to you. But if you're in your Google account, what it looks like is like this. Let me make that a little bit bigger. It looks like this. When you click here, the app keypad is still there and you still have access to all those great tools. You just don't see email because you're now in your free Google account. You didn't need email, you had your own email, but you wanted access to all these tools and you can sign up to do that for free. Make sense to everybody? All right, now once we've done that, you'll see in the app keypad, you have the opportunity here to have access to Sheets, which works just like Excel, to Docs, which works just like Word, to Slides, which works just like PowerPoint. You also have access to Photos, which is my personal favorite because I actually back up my mobile device. I have it set to here. So anytime I'm within Wi-Fi connection, just because I chose not to do it with data connection, but I can, that it'll always upload my photos so I never have to worry about losing it. That's, I live in rural West Texas. I drive 15 miles out and I'm out of range, so I don't want to lose anything that I've captured on my phone. Plus, you also have access to Google Chrome, which is a browser, and it's a great browser if you're in business and in marketing because there's a lot of tools behind that browser. And then, of course, many of you said you're familiar with Gmail. So as you're signing in, this is what it looks like. And as you're in your Google account or your Gmail account, this is how you get to the app keypad and you have access to all of these. Now we'll show you when you have access to all of these, you do have the opportunity to organize it in whatever way you see fit. You'll see a really faint line right underneath here. That's a faint gray line. So that's above the fold or above the line. You can put the things that you use the most. By default, Google will organize that for you. But let's say you actually use Photos more than you use Drive. You can just click and drag and you can bring that up there. Or let's say you don't use the you don't use Google Ads, so you'll put that below here. You can organize and personalize it in any way that works best for you. Make sense? All right. Now, let's talk about how we can create a to-do list with Google Sheets. First, what I'm going to do is show you what's in the slides and animation. The next thing after that, I'll go to a live demo because right now the internet's playing friendly with us. I can't always do that because the internet doesn't always play friendly. So if you'll see here, what's happening is you are in Google Drive. Google Drive is a storage area that's 100% free. You get 15 gigabytes free and you can store anything there, from photos to even programs or documents from programs that you don't even have access to through Google. You can do all of that storage there. The reason why it's available to you and why it does that is because we are all working remotely. Sometimes we like to share things and it's difficult to share things by email. Sometimes the attachment's too large, it's too difficult to try to send. Maybe it's a big photo and maybe you're wondering, do you have version 1 that she sent out on Monday at 10 a.m. or do you have version 3 of it that was sent out closer to noon? It can get very confusing when you're working across with teams. So here's one way you can streamline that, and I'll show you how to do that as we progress along. But the first thing is to understand how to use the tool. So how to get to Google Drive, you're seeing that there. Let's say you're in your Gmail account. You use the app keypad, and you see that triangle primary color icon. Click on that. You will see another tab open. I'm going to make it bigger because we're broadcasting, but now this is Google Drive where you can save everything that you want, and you do have 15 gigabytes stored of storage space, 100% free. So let's say you're looking to do Google Sheets. You'll see the animation here showing you with Google Sheets. You're going to click in Drive, you're going to click on New, you're going to click Google Sheets, you're going to choose from a template. There's a whole host of templates there, and then you're going to create a to-do list. So let me show you that in real time, all right? Let's say you're in your Google account. So it looks like this for you. You click the app keypad. You will click on Google Drive. You are going to click New. Click Google Sheets, or actually you're not clicking, you're hovering over it. Hover over that little arrow. You can start a blank spreadsheet, or you can start from a template. Click Template. Now you can see it's very tiny. Let me make that bigger. You can see there's a host of free templates that you can use, which means everything's already laid out for you, as well as the formula is already calculated. So let's say that you wanted a monthly budget, or somebody asked you that they needed an annual budget, or perhaps you needed to track, let's see, expenses down here, an expense report. Maybe you needed to create a purchase order. They asked you to do that for work. Maybe you're putting some project management together and you're leading a project team or documenting for a project team, so you want to have project tracking and a project timeline. Or maybe you're involved in education and you need an attendance sheet or how do you get to Google Drive? Oh, okay, Debbie, sure, let me make sure that you see that. So how you get to Google Drive, I'm glad you asked. That's what the question box is for. Again, if you are in your Gmail account, I'm going to show you from your Gmail account this time. Go to the app keypad, click here. You'll see the primary color icon, click on it. It will open another tab, so another window, and that is how you get to Google Drive. To get to Google Sheets, you will click New, hover over Sheets, hover over the arrow here. You can start a blank spreadsheet, or you can do this from a template, okay? So that's where we're at. When you click from a template, do know that it is not doing anything to the template gallery. Google Drive, and my love of Google Drive is that it actually saves all the time. I don't have to worry about a power surge here in West Texas, or I've driven out of the area and I'm not connected, that all of a sudden I didn't save my latest work. It is saving all the time. That's one of the things that you will not see, even though it very much mirrors any of the Microsoft tools. When you are in a Google Sheet, you will not see the save icon or that little floppy drive. Even though we don't use floppy drives anymore, you won't see that. I'll show you that in just a moment. So this is the template gallery that comes up. When you click on a template, it will automatically save it to your Google Drive. It does not change the template gallery, and now this is your own document to do as you please, or your own tool to do as you please. So I'm going to click on to-do list here because that's what we're doing here today. When I click on that, you can see it's thinking, and now it opens up the to-do list in Google Sheets. This is already pre-laid out, but you can customize it however you see fit. It did bring it in from template gallery and has now saved it to your actual Google Drive. You don't have to do anything other than that, but you can customize it. So let's say I'm going to make this Maria's webinar to-do list. All I have to do is click enter. See how I never had to hit save. There is no save floppy disk or icon for me to save because it's always saving. So you can name it whatever you'd like to name and customize. You can see here, you can star it. If you star it, that means it's going to be at the top of your Google Drive. So when you're looking for it in your Google Drive, you can go here. I can refresh this actually, so I'll refresh it, and you'll see it's right here at the very top because I starred it. I can also go here and see everything that I've starred, and it'll show me everything that I starred, but I would rather look here because it's going to bring it to the very top, and I'm currently working on this sheet. Now, let's say I want to be organized, okay? So I want to organize and put it into a file that I've already created. Do you know that on average, any day, we lose about 15 minutes looking for something, either a digital file or a physical file? Think about that. When you've ever had to look for something that you know you have, but where did I put it? So what you can do is you can already file this away and stay nice and organized, which is really important because 15 minutes every day, actually in the course of the year, comes out to 10 days. 10 days of unencumbered time that you could free up if you got organized and just have free to do whatever you want, read a book, relax, just have that time that you keep wishing you had more time in a day, all right? So think about this. organizing it here, you could go click and move. See that little file icon there with an arrow? Click move. Then it comes to your drive and it shows you all of the folders you already have. If I wanted to create a new folder, I could click on this to create a new folder. But I have a webinar plans folder, so I'm going to hover over here, click on this little arrow, and I'm going to say move here. So I will always find it within my webinar folder. I don't have to search for where it could be. All right? Make sense to everybody? All right. Now, oops, let me see here. Where did my live demo go? Bring it back. There we go. All right. So now you can start customizing things like, let's say I want to change the color here. I'm not into green, so I want to change the color here. You'll see up here it looks just like the Microsoft tool. So Microsoft Excel, you'll go here. Let's say I like red better, so I can change it to red. You can do a whole host of things here. Click here, change the text, and say, Brittany, will you make sure we have the meeting set up in the platform, and hit enter. I want to make sure Brittany gets that done. Of course, it's not 2000. I want to say January 25th, 2022. It will change it here. See how the formula changed it to 125? And now here's really a wonderful aspect of utilizing Google, the Google tools, is you can comment somebody in. So if I right click here, so I'm right clicking on this, this is known as a cell. Know that every vertical area here of a sheet is known as a column. So columns are labeled by letters A, B, and C. All right. And then also, oh, perfect, perfect. I'm glad it's working for you, Evan. I'm glad this is helpful. And then also every row is numbered. So when I say, look at the cell and what's the address of a cell, every triangle or square here is considered a cell. So C5, again, we go by column, column C, row 5 is what I'm typing in right now, where I said, Brittany, will you make sure we have this meeting set up in the platform? All right. Once I'm on that cell, that's the cell's address. That's what I'm referring to. I'm going to right click here and say comment. Now I can comment to Brittany and say, will you please be sure this is done? So I could just say that. And then when Brittany goes into the sheet, she will see that comment and she can take action on this. But it's much better if I address Brittany. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this out. Let me do a new comment. I'm going to right click here, go down to comment, see that little comment box. And now I will say, because I don't have anybody tied to this actual account, because this is my trainer demo account, I'm just going to play that I'm talking to Brittany here, but I would put in, if I was talking to Brittany a lot and communicating with her by email, her email address would come up instantly. But let's just say I put it in here and say, I put her email address and said, will you please be sure that this is done by the next meeting, and then I can assign it to Brittany. Once I click assign, and I know it's saying assign to Elena Duron, that's just because I don't have Brittany's email in here, but it's my demo account. So when I click assign to Elena Duron, what happens is, if this was Brittany, she would get an email in her inbox that she needs to take care of this task. She's been assigned something. She can click from her inbox and it will take her straight to this comment. She doesn't have to search for it or anything. It'll take her right here. But let's say I didn't do that. I just made that comment like I did before, and I said, Brittany, I didn't put her email address. Would you please be sure this is done soon? And then I can comment in, and whenever she does look at the spreadsheet, she can go down here to the tab, see the tabs are at the bottom, and she can click over or hover over this little icon here, which shows there's one comment on this page. She can see there's a comment in cell C5, remember that's the cell's address, and she can click here and go straight to the comment. So that's how you can find your way around to be able to do a to-do list in a sheet and to share it with somebody. And that is what I love about the tools. They're easy to share, so everybody has the latest version. Now let's say somebody goes there and they delete everything. They just go in here and they say, okay, let me just delete that, and I'm going to add an extra column. So if I right click here and I click insert column to the right, remember verticals are column, then all of a sudden another column is available there. And let's say I put another row here, I can do the same thing, go to the number, rows are horizontal, I can right click and I can say, let's insert one row above. And it actually even renumbers it, so I could do that. Now what happens if that's a mess? Somebody's made a mess in your sheet. Well, what I can do is I can go to File, and then I can go to Version History. See, Google Drive is always saving. So when I click on Version History, what happens then is it will show me the different versions that it saved it at, and I can restore the version, I can rename it something else, I can bring it back everything that's deleted if I wanted to. I can have every version a different name. So I always have access to it. I don't have to worry about not saving something and it not being helpful to me or me losing anything, okay? Now what's also key, and I know I'm going very slow over this first section, but understand these functions that I'm walking you through, you're going to see in all the other tools. When I click File, Download, you also have the opportunity to download this as an Excel spreadsheet or a PDF as well, or any of these other formats. So you have all of that available to you if you're working from a machine that, let's say you have PowerPoint or you have Excel loaded on and you're sending it to somebody, they can also download it with Excel. Make sense to anybody? Everybody? Any questions, anybody? Okay, now everybody's been pretty quiet over there and I went over quite a bit. Now, when you are looking for comments, let me show you that real quick too after this animation, but first I want to give you a chance to ask any questions, and I do have a question for you. Have you already gotten something of value? Has any of this been new to you? Did you know any of this? Let me know in the question box, okay? All right. How you can find questions too, you'll see that, or comments, you'll see here on that top right-hand corner how there's a little orangish little corner there. That's how you can also find comments. So we give you several ways to do things within all the Google tools so you can find your way around. Oh, thank you for letting me know this is helpful. Thank you for the feedback. Are there PowerPoints to what you're showing? Yes, there are, and you will get a copy of today's slides just because you commented here in the question box, okay? Remember what I said, though, it will be tomorrow morning because sometimes it takes that long for the video. So you'll get a copy of today's video as well as the slides, okay? Let me see with everybody here. You've used these tools. Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, yay, right? All right, Kathleen, absolutely. Let's go ahead and go forward then. So now we're going to go a little bit faster because I've shown you some of the basics. You can add tasks, you can add dates. I've showed you how you can actually add columns as well. You can see that too. What's nice is when you get these the slides, you'll get all of this animation. So if you've forgotten it, you can walk through this way, or as I said, you can watch the video, slow down, pause, and rewatch here as well. Yes, you can assign somebody tasks, which is what's really helpful. And it makes it nice to not have to worry about 100 emails coming in or you trying to figure out which version of something that you have. So I'm hoping this is helpful to you. And then also what's nice too is you can change the font color, you can change the fill color, which is what you see happening here in the animation, just like I did when I did it from red to green, okay? So you can do all of that, just customize it any way that you'd like. And let's see, I am learning a lot. Oh, that is great. I know this first part has been slow for some who may be familiar with this, but I wanted to make sure you have the basics because once you have this, all of these tools are going to mirror all of those basics. So I'm glad this is helpful to you. All right, perfect. Perfect. I'm glad it's helpful. And now here, how you can find it is remember what I said about clicking the drive, going to the drive, and now you can find it there. If you start it, it'll be at the very top. If you didn't start it, it'll be in alphabetical order, or if you filed it away, what I showed you about moving it to a folder, it will be in that folder. You can do any of those three things to be able to find it in Drive, okay? All right, before we go to the next section, any questions? I'm glad everybody's letting me know if they've learned anything. I'm also, if you think about it, what are you going to take from today to apply? Because this is really important. Applied knowledge is more powerful. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is. My friend Jo says it so well because she says knowledge is knowing the tomato is a fruit. Applied knowledge is not putting it in the fruit salad. So today we are going to look about ways we can apply our knowledge. So remember how we did this with Google Sheets. Now I'm going to show you how to do this with Google Docs, which works just like Word. Oh, absolutely. Not right. No worries. We've got plenty to go through. So let's go ahead and talk about Google Sheets. Remember what I said? That works just like Docs. So let me bring my live demo back. So grateful the internet's playing friendly with us today because I really don't control that. All right, let's say we're in our Gmail account. We're going to go to the app keypad. We're going to click Drive. Now we're in our Drive. Remember what we did before with Sheets? We'll do the same thing going to Google Docs. We're going to click New. You will see Google Docs. It's the blue icon. Hover over this arrow here. You can start a blank document or you can say from a template. So we'll click on Template. Now, when you're in the template, let me make sure, good, it's nice and big. You will see, just like before, there in the template gallery, there's a whole library of free templates that are already set up for you that you can use. Maybe you need to do a resume. Maybe you need to do a cover letter. Maybe you're just doing your recipes, or maybe a family newsletter. For work, you might be doing project proposals. You could be doing meeting notes. You could be setting up a brochure. Maybe you are doing an NDA. Maybe you're doing a proposal. Okay, so there's all of these available to you, and it just goes on and on. You'll see I'm just even halfway down the gallery here of the template and the different templates, and you can actually use any of these. These are free for you to use. Today we're going to do meeting notes. So I'm going to go here to, let's go to this one. Click on this meeting notes. Remember, it will now automatically bring it into your Google Drive. Now it's there. I can change this. This is Maria's webinar meeting notes. And I want to find it because I'm going to be working on it right away. So I'm going to start it, but I'm not quite ready to file it yet. So I'm not going to file it, but if I wanted to, I could click here and I can file it into any existing folder, or I could create a new folder. All right, so I'm not going to do that right now. I just clicked off here. Remember, there's no save because it's always saving. And what I can do here is now I can customize the color. So I just highlight this, customize the color, and I want this to be blue. It's not September, it's actually I just went blank on the date. All right. Where am I at? January 19. Good Lord. Okay, here we go. You can tell I have a lot of different things on my mind here. But January 19th, 2022, I can change this. I can add attendees. I can update the agenda. I can delete all this as I want. As you can see, it's just gibberish here, holding the space for you so you can customize it. But it does give you the layout. You can update and change this if you want. You can bring people in. Remember, see how I did that? Remember how we did the comment before? I just highlighted this. See how the comment box came up? If I didn't highlight it, I can also go up here and add a comment. So I can do it that way. But let's say I'm going to go here, outline this. I'm going to make a comment. I'm going to say, wow, that's way over there to the side. Let me try this. Comment. I'm going to say at Maria, please update this today. And then I can assign it. Now, when you assign it, they will get that email. Remember what I said? But let's say you've got a lot of people to share this with. What you can do is you can also click share here. Once I click share, you can decide to put Maria in at KLI.com. And I want Maria to have the ability to edit this. So I can get very specific about how I share this document with people. Or let's say I want it to give it to Maria, but I don't want her to edit. I want her to just make comments. She can't change it. I just want her to make comments. Or maybe I just want her to see it, not even make any comments, just view it so she can't change the document. I can do that. But let's say I don't even want to get that because it's just going to be too busy. Too many people are going to get this. So what I can do is I can share the link to everybody. So when they click on the link, they can get here to this document. Now I can change that link so it is available to anybody and they can view it, or they can comment, or they can edit. I don't want anyone to just be able to change this document, so I'm just going to give them the chance to view it. I can copy that link and now I can share that with them. All right. So once that's done, it's done. I'll show you here in the animation how you can customize even more what you're doing in your document. You can add that text that we were talking about, like I showcased you in the live demo. You can also format that if you want it a little bit different. If you wanted to change the font size, you see how you can actually control all that here at the very top. If you've never done that before, What you'll do here is, let's say I don't want lacto, I want Arial, and I want it to be a size 14, because I want it to be really, really big. I can do all that here. I want it to be bold. I want to italicize it. I don't want to underline it. You can do all of that with the controls at the top. And then you can also insert a comment like I showcased to you a moment ago, or demonstrated, sorry, for you a moment ago. I was showing you that in the animation. And then you can also add somebody and comment that in. So these are some of the fun things that you can do in sharing this. Now, let's say that you are sharing it a whole lot of different ways. Remember what I showcased with you about sharing? You can get really specific by email address, or you can get and use the link that you share out with everybody. So an example of that, let's say you are working with a board of directors and you want your bookkeeper or financial team to be able to make adjustments to the budget. So you might share with them by email that they can access the budget spreadsheet. But maybe with your board of directors, you just want them to view the budget. You don't want them to change or delete anything or any of the or update or do anything at all. You want to keep the integrity of the document, so you just want them to be able to view that. You can do that too. Now, if you're using Google Docs for resumes, let me give you a quick hit and then I'll go straight to questions because I do see a couple of questions. You can, remember what I said, you can look at version history always, so that happens here under File. Go to version history and you can see all the different versions available, so you can go back to any version. But if you're sharing this as a resume, then what you can do is click File, click Download, and you can download this as a Word document or a PDF. But here's a little insider tip and hint. Don't download it as a Word document, because what happens is somebody else has Word on their machine. It adjusts the margins to whatever size they have. So let's say you've really taken all the time to make sure your resume looks just amazing. Visually, it's proofread, it has all the information that you want to share with an employer, and you've got an inch column on each side, right and left, that your margins, and then a ½ inch on top, and bottom, and you send it as a Microsoft Word to somebody in an email attachment. They open it up, and in their Microsoft Word, their margins are sent to ½ inch left and right, and an inch top and bottom. All of a sudden, it starts moving your words and changing the spacing, and it looks like to them you haven't taken the time, nor do you value the quality of work that you do to make sure that it looks nice, even though that you did. When you download something in PDF, that's known as portable document format, it now preserves the look of the document just like you intended it to be received. Okay? So that's something that you can do here by doing download and then as a PDF, or if you do want to work with it as a Word, let's say you're working on your machine, that's the program that you use, you can do that too. Or if you're online in a browser, you can utilize your Google tools and you can make any edits here within Google, okay? And it's always saved on the drive. All right, let me see what the questions are here now. It says, okay, good. No, I addressed all the questions. All right, I thought they were new questions. All right, let's see. Oh, I'm glad it's extremely helpful, Debbie. Thank you for the feedback. That's why I do this. It's because I do want it to be something that's helpful and useful to you to be able to apply immediately as soon as you log off. Now, the next thing we're going to be talking about is using Google Slides. Remember what I said? Those work like PowerPoint. So you have access to this, no additional licensing. Remember, this is all free with your free Google account or Gmail account. How you access this is you're going to go again into Drive. You're going to hover over and click on that new, hover over where you see Google Slides, and you're going to choose the template gallery. So let me show you that. Even though the animation is showing you how to do that, I will take you through a live demo because sometimes that's a little bit better to see. I hope that's helpful to you. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go into let's do this from the Google account so you can see it from both ways. I'm going to go to the app keypad. I'm going to go to Drive, the triangle, the icon. I'm going to click New. I'm going to go to Google Slides, hover over here, hover over the arrow, and say from a template. Now there's a whole gallery of templates already laid out to you. If you're going to be planning a wedding, doing a photo album, creating a recipe book, maybe you're doing a proposal, a pitch, a status report to an employer, maybe you're doing a book report or a field trip if you're using this in education. But let's say for this particular exercise, and demo, we're going to do a status report. So once I click on that, remember it comes into my Google Drive, it automatically saves, it does not alter the template gallery. I can say Maria's status report. I can star that if I want to, I can move it if I want to, and now I have the opportunity to do everything that I need to here. I can file, look at the version history. Remember, if any changes and I shared it with somebody and it became a problem that I shared it with somebody because they deleted something, I can go to another version history. I can download it as a PowerPoint or a PDF if I want to make sure that it's all one PDF and they aren't making changes to my PowerPoint, or I don't want them to change that. I can also decide on different themes here. And I could also present it if I want. So I'll show you that in a moment. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's go ahead here and look at what's happening in the animation as you customize and create your title slide. So let's see, am I able to download a Google Doc if I don't have Microsoft Office? Absolutely, Debbie, you sure can. What you're going to do with a Google Doc, let me show you that real quick because that is a relevant question. Let me go into Drive, new Google Docs from a template. Let me just choose one here, this resume. So if I'm going to download this, I could say File, Download, and let's say I just want to use, or oops, I forgot to hover over download for a little bit. If you want to say an open document format. So an open document format is very similar to Microsoft Word that you can operate on your machine, so you don't have to have Word to use it, okay? So you can download it in this format too, Debbie. Hope that was helpful to you and answered your question, more importantly. All right, so you can choose the different layouts that you'd like to use here. You can decide that you want to use all of the slides. See how it's showing you here in the animation? You can choose maybe that you want to use a title and body slide, or maybe you want to create a main point slide. You have all of that that's already been formatted and created for you. You can also decide if you want to add any visuals like photos, and you can bring those images in to really liven up, or even videos if you'd like to, within your actual presentation. And now you can also share the presentation. I'm not going to do that for you here in a demo because I am broadcasting. If I did that now, it would knock all of you off and you wouldn't be able to see what was happening. So I'm not doing that, but you will see that in this demo. So when you do get a copy of these slides, make sure you spend some time looking at this, or in this part of the recording, slow down and take a look at it, because you can share the presentation by presenting, or like it's showing you here, you can share it by individuals. Let's say you're a team working across time zones and you're trying to put a presentation together for your supervisor. You can do that here and work collaboratively without having to worry about which version, or if anybody makes a mistake and deletes something, or maybe did something that you couldn't undo. It's all there. Everything's there. That's what's the beauty of utilizing Google Drive. And then, as I shared before, you can actually, I'm sorry, there we go. Let's go back here. You can customize many things. Let me go here and show you this. Close all of this so it won't slow down our internet. But if I wanted to delete a slide, I could just right click here and I can delete it. I can ask somebody, right click, put comment, and say, Brittany, do we need this anymore, or is this a quick review? And I can even assign it. And again, just like I said, it would go into her email and she could just click in that and go straight here if she wanted to. If I wanted, let's say I'm not going to assign it, I'm just going to comment it, then I can also share it with her this way. I can turn the link on for sharing for anybody. I could do that too. And then I can also present it as a slideshow if I wanted. I can click here and I can start from the beginning or present on another screen, but I'm not doing that, so I'm not going to knock you guys out of the last part of our training time together. Okay, let me see if there's any questions. All right. Great. I'm glad. So we are going to do a recap. Remember, we're going to look and see what can we apply. And while I'm going through this, I do want to know from you, are you going to add any of these to your to-do list? So you can become more familiar with it and really play around. It's one thing when I show you, it's quite another when you play with it. And I will tell you the best way to learn is teach somebody. find your child, a grandchild, a friend that you can teach, and it's amazing how much you'll actually now start learning when you do that. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you can apply all of it. So try a to-do list. Try playing with that template in the template gallery and customizing it for yourself. We also showed how to do Google Docs. Sorry, my allergies are in full swing right now. I live in West Texas, and the winds were blowing at emergency fire speed yesterday. So I'm having big allergy issues, and I appreciate you guys' patience as I work through that here in the webinar. But I also went through the docs here and how you can customize that, how you can comment someone in, and then we covered how you can use Google Slides like PowerPoint. So how you can use that, use the template gallery to have things already laid out for you. You don't have to start from scratch. You can customize all of this for you. Now I see a question here. Let me see. I'm planning a wedding. Awesome, awesome. Yes, there's the wedding planner to-do list within the actual spreadsheet gallery. So this is perfect, perfect timing. I'm so glad it's working for you, and it's helping you because you found something right away you can apply. That's awesome. Now there are some other free Google tools you have access to, because when I clicked on the app keypad, there's a whole bunch of other tools that are there, and those are also free to you. Those are free. You can use Google Forms. You can use this for surveys. That's 100% free. You can use Google Sites, where you could create a website either internally that you're sharing with your team. So if you wanted to share a personnel document or some HR forms, you can do that with Google Sites. If you need a website to show to everybody, you can do this, and it's free, so you don't even have to pay for that. A lot of times when you're starting a business or transitioning into starting your own business, you're spending a lot of money on tools that you're not quite sure yet even if the business will work. You don't have proof of concept. So because of that, you might want to use Sheet Sites, which is a free site that you can create. No cost there. Of course, we talked about slides. There's Google Calendar. You can make appointments from there and update. You don't have to worry about using a scheduling tool. You can do this right in Google. And Google Meet actually works just like Zoom, and that's 100% free within your free Google tools. So you can use this. It brings in meetings, and you'll have those meetings just like you have with Zoom, where everybody's on the screen. You see all these different tiles. You can talk to each other. You can share screens. You can record either a presentation in there too. Okay? All right, I'm glad it's perfect timing. This is so nice. Nice, nice, nice. So for today, your next steps are try Google Docs. Okay, go here and give that a try. Your to-do list is to also try Google Sheets. So you could start applying what you learned today. And then also you can start considering other workshops. Because remember, your Google partner that invited you here today, they are there and they are vested in your interest, and are vested in your success. They want you to be wildly successful. They're going to be cheering you all the way around, supporting you all the way. So please reach out to them, because they have a lot of tools through the partner community that they can assist you with. Now, also, if you want to take a deeper dive, let's say for work, you need to show that I am certified in how to handle Google Sheets, because I know a lot of companies that use Google Sheets for their payroll. So maybe your employer is requiring certification. What you can do is go to this URL here. So you might want to take a snapshot or a screenshot of this. And what you'll do at that URL is you can sign up and go through all the videos and the workbooks and the worksheets to take an even deeper dive to really understand Google Sheets, how to be able to create those formulas and to set that up. And then you can go all the way to the time of certification, and it's 100% free. So you may not even want to get the certificate. You just want to take that deeper dive. Do it, and it's 100% free up until you get to the certification part. Now, once you get to certification, there is a cost, $79. There's a cost because we have to pay the certification company to be able to do that and provide the actual certification. But if you don't need that, then get as far as you can with it up to the actual test, and you still will get all the value from it. But if you need the certification for your personnel file or for proof as you're applying to different places to show that you do have that skill set, now you have that as well. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's see. The above question is, our business is seasonal at the time of the year. I don't see an above question. Let me go back. Sorry, like I said, it's 8-point font and it's moving. Is it the one about, can you download Google Docs if you don't have Microsoft Office? Because I did answer that question. if that's not the question, if you could retype it again, because I don't see it at all. All I see is the last one about downloading Google Docs if you don't have Microsoft Word, and I did answer that. And if you missed it, not to worry, I can go over it again. Oh yeah, if you don't want to connect it, you don't have to. The thing is you're in charge. At whatever level that you would like Google to access it, you can. I happen to like it saving my photos because I don't want to ever worry about a photo loss. But that's my personal preference. So to each their own, whatever preference you feel comfortable with, right? Now there is a free app here that you can go to the Play Store if you have an Android, or to the App Store if you have an iPhone, and you can download Google Primer. This will even take you deeper into some lesson plans that are already there, so you only have to have internet access when you download the app. After that, you don't need it. And there are wonderful lesson plans and ways you can learn here that's 100% free. And then also, if you want to know more about what your Google partners can do there for you and your local community, you can go here to grow.google, and you can see all the different tools that they have access to. Now, before we finish up, this is what I call the money slide. Everything that I talked about today, every site that I talked about is right here if you want to do a screenshot before you get a copy of today's slides. But I do want to make sure I've answered any of your questions. First of all, was this helpful to you? How is this meaningful, and what's the one thing you're going to take from here? Feel free to ask questions in the question box. We are at time, and I want to be respectful. So if you need to go, you're not hurting my feelings by logging off at all. Feel free to do that. I'm going to go ahead. Let me put this here and stop the recording while we go through